So I want to welcome David and Dana Holstrom to the Ask Me Anything. I'm Dr. Theresa, and it is a fabulous day. I'm excited to have David and Dana as my guests today. You know, in the Ask Me Anything, I take my 24 years of experience in the healthcare business world and take all of that wonderful marketing that I learned there, and I apply it to my online marketing experience. And this is where all of the listeners, this means you, get the benefit of all of that wealth of information. And today, be sure you share this with a friend, share this with the entrepreneurs that you know, because everyone can use more information on marketing. Marketing is not anything, it's everything, just as my mentor, Brian Kurtz, says. David and Dana come to us from Mexico, and they have a fantastic background as in online marketing, but they are also retired. David, you're retired pastor, and Dana, you're retired paralegal, right?
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep. So
Yeah,
we bring
so-
those crossover things right into our business.
And you know what? It's just like, that's why I think I can relate to you so well, was I did the same thing. I went from a traditional area or line of work into the online marketing. And then I started with making videos because I'm just fascinated with the creative part of that. I still enjoy making videos, but I've evolved into ad strategies for lead generation. So the ad strategies don't work unless you really have a good sense of who your audience is, as well as having that fantastic strategy for getting leads in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's where I think your expertise is so paramount to anyone who's listening. You know, pay attention to everyone that's listening, because unless you are doing $100,000 in business or ready to spend anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 a month on ads for a minimum of 3 months, you really need to start with a good lead magnet and build that list out first. Dana and David have very important information for you today. So tell us how you got started on this journey.
Well, actually, as you mentioned, I served as a parish pastor for 35 years. I have a PhD in biblical interpretation. And,
wow.
and then well, I had worked myself into a position in a huge church where I was executive pastor in charge of strategic planning and coaching staff. And
Wow.
then I was downsized and ended up in a small church where those skills were sort of irrelevant. And at a certain point, Dana and I looked at each other, and I had checked out our retirement numbers and said, you know, we need to work another 6 to 8 years unless we decide to just quit now, retire, and move to Mexico. And
did you fall off your chair, Dana?
No, I think my mouth fell to the floor, but it was instant. And I said, let's do it.
Oh my gosh.
And then reality started to kick in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, well, maybe we should ask God first. Does he want us to go to Mexico, or does he want us to stay in this little church where we don't fit?
He does laugh at plans we make.
Yeah, he opened every door, and it was.
And we did check with our financial advisor
well,
too.
right. We made all sorts of, our kids weren't the most thrilled about the whole thing, although 2 of them thought it was the coolest thing we'd ever done, but
wow.
So a year later we were here.
And we had dabbled with doing drop shipping of having our own online stores, maybe 10 years ago.
Yep, e-commerce. Yep.
And then when we got here, we thought, okay, now what are we going to do? And we tried I shouldn't say tried. We did some affiliate marketing. We did some network marketing. And then I was talking with one of our mentors one day and realized that really my sweet spot is coaching other people, just like I did for all those years as a parish pastor, coaching other staff and helping
That
them
makes
with their
sense.
strategic planning. It's just like you taking those skills that I've already learned and moving them into the online marketing space.
Mhm.
And obviously, it took us a number of years to develop new skills.
Sure.
But now we enjoy working in this new space.
The
Very
fruits
much.
of your labor. How
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
years have you been doing all of this?
Well, if you go way back to the drop shipping, that's 10, 12 years, but
That's a good chunk of time.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
drop shipping.
And
Yeah.
5 years, pretty much full time.
right. Since we retired.
Wow. Yeah,
we've been-
drop shipping will give you a hardcore, intensive, very expensive online marketing lessons quickly.
It was, yes, definitely.
Yes. Thanks for saying that out loud.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
The drop shipping, so many people think, well, it's so easy. You just sign up for this system where people are going to create the product for you and ship it for you. And what do you have to do then find a customer to buy the stuff? And oh no, there's so many merry little hidden fees in there. And
Oh,
it feels
yes.
like everybody's got their hand in your pocket. And then you've got one more hurdle after another to get through from tech. And oh my gosh, what do you mean the ads didn't run and we got the wrong audience?
Right.
Right.
Right. And then there's the whole email component. 40% of email revenues, the e-commerce revenues come from email.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So good for you to dive into that and walk away, still pull up your bootstraps and check out something else.
Yeah.
Right.
That is admirable. Absolutely.
Thank you.
And as a pastor, I can recognize that you are a people person. As a paralegal, you know how things should come together. It's a perfect match for the two of you and your skill sets. Because when you know people, that's when you're able to really dive into the marketing end of things. So,
And interestingly enough, she's really the bigger people person of the two of us. And
really,
and while I have plenty of people skills, I would rather be hiding behind or hiding it inside a book, and
like the Bible, for example.
Yeah. There
yeah,
you go.
yeah, yeah,
That's a good place to hide.
or doing the technical background or back.
Yeah. I call
Back
him my tech
office stuff.
ninja, because I don't have to get good at that because I've got my own tech ninja here.
Perfect. So what do you like most about the coaching, David?
I like helping people see things that they've missed. Just as a simple example, I had somebody in a coaching session say that they were frustrated that they weren't bringing in anywhere near the amount of money that they thought they would be. And I asked them, okay, how much money do you make per transaction? What are you selling? How much do you make on each one? And they said $5. And I said, okay, well, $5 is fine if you're selling thousands of pieces. But have you figured out how many sales you need to make per month to
hit your goal.
to hit your goal? And there's silence. And then she said, well, that's impossible. And I said, okay, we just discovered one model of business that doesn't work. Now let's look and see if we can figure out one that does work. And I have blind spots too, because you look at things a certain way and think that's the way they are. And I love to be able to ask questions and make discoveries and then lead people step by step where they need to go, because often people are working on one step in the process and don't realize that they skipped 3 steps that are important to have done first. You know, just those basic things like knowing your audience really well. Who is your target audience, and knowing what problem you solve for people. A lot of people know what widget they sell, but what problem does it solve? Why does somebody want it in the first place? What's it going to do for them? And if it doesn't make a change in their life, then don't bother.
Right. Because as cool as you think it is,
Yeah.
nobody's going to want it.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And then
Go ahead.
Well, and then there's the matter of, do they know that they want it or need it? I mean, you think that they need it, but
Do they know?
do they know?
Yeah.
And if you have to go out there and convince people that they want something, you're setting yourself up for failure, because there's just too much work to do to change their mindset.
Yeah.
But if you can show them that
That's right.
you have something that they already need and want, then it's
when
not
your
that
marketing
difficult.
clicks. Yes.
I've heard it expressed as putting a toll booth in the lane where people are going.
Yes, right. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Instead of trying to redirect the traffic, find out where the traffic is and get in front of it.
Exactly. And then some great flashing neon sign that makes you a little different.
Right.
People should pay attention to you.
Right.
Yeah. And you're right. When people go after an audience that's not there and just try to sell them something. Yeah.
Yeah. And just like we could say we do online marketing and coach online marketers like how many thousands of others. But I come as a former pastor with a heart for that. Dana comes as a paralegal with lots of experience working with people and helping them at their pain points.
Right.
And that's going to attract some people and it's going to repel others. And that's fine.
It should.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. It should, because otherwise you don't have a client that you're happy with.
Right.
Yeah, and it goes for anybody who's listening. And if you're enjoying what you're hearing, share this with a friend. Be sure to make some comments below and tell us that you like it. And ask some questions. Ask some questions of, you've got some 2 real stars here, Dana and David Holstrom. Tell me your tagline again, the profit builders?
Well, we're profit coaches, online
Profit coaches.
Yes.
Who doesn't want a profit coach?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And part of where that comes from is we know that there are so many people in this space that are working hard, banging their head against the wall, doing lots of things, maybe making an occasional sale, but
Yeah.
spending way more on the necessary infrastructure than that they ever receive in a return. And we want to help them break through.
And how does that apply to the lead magnet strategy?
Sure. Well, we call your lead magnet a solution. It has to solve a problem for somebody. And so what we tell people is when they're thinking through their lead magnet, we have to start with the question of what problem can you solve for someone else? And yeah, this doesn't have to be
Where is their
problem in the world, but let's focus on one thing that you can solve for them right now. And ideally something that you can solve for them in the next 15 minutes. You know, people aren't necessarily wanting to read that 300-page ebook that you slaved over for years. They want something quick and easy that solves a problem for them now.
Absolutely. Those 300-page ebooks are beautiful, but something that's quick to consume is a much easier way to build that relationship.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And, 10 years ago, people were much more excited about getting that free ebook. And today they're
True.
more excited about what can you fix for me right now?
Yes, and there's so many people out there right now that are attempting new side hustles with online businesses using the genius that they know. It's perfect for them to start generating their business and their leads with the lead magnet.
Right.
Yeah. And I know you talk a little bit about building trust with the lead magnet.
Right.
Absolutely.
You need to think of your lead magnet as the beginning of a relationship. It's not the purpose of it is not just to get somebody's email so that you can have them on your list. Now, there's lots of people that do that, but I call those lead magnets dead ends.
They are
Because-
dead ends.
Yeah, what happens is you get somebody, they got what they want, and they're done.
Yep.
You need
That's
to,
okay.
yeah, but you need to
Yeah.
be thinking of it from the beginning as, how can I begin a relationship with someone? And so if you can deliver something to them that really is of value, that actually makes a difference in their life, that solves some small problem for them, and then show them that that's only one little piece of what you can do for them, and open the door to them, for an ongoing relationship, an ongoing discussion, then that's what we want to do with that lead magnet. And we've got 8 different pieces of that we tell you need to look at every lead magnet and ask, does it do all 8 of these things? And boy, we saw the same thing in your lead magnet that talks about the
The
landing
design
page.
elements. Yeah, the design
Yeah.
elements of a
Yeah.
landing page.
That there's a lot of different things that it needs to do. And if you take those things and review your landing pages, or in our case, review your lead magnets and ask, does it do each of these things? You'll see that there are things you're missing. Well,
Right.
what a great opportunity to go back then and revise things a little bit and raise the quality level, and
Yeah.
you'll see a difference.
There'll be a lot more conversions. You'll have a lot more people that are happy because they've got what they needed and then some. You kind of over deliver that way.
Absolutely. And I think when you over deliver in a way that is of value to the other person, the receiving person, that not only creates trust. There's a book by Robert Cialdini called Influence, and he
Yes.
cites the law of reciprocity. So by giving, you will receive.
Right.
So always give first, and it's more than just a principle in the Bible, or maybe Cialdini got it from the Bible, right?
One way or the other, you help somebody with their problem, they are grateful, they often look for opportunities to help you in return.
Absolutely. And what's interesting is what I find with you're offering the lead generation framework. I have not seen that word framework since I studied therapy, occupational therapy in college. And we all sat around the classroom looking at our teachers thinking, what are you talking about, a framework? So as an adult, what a perfect term to put a frame around lead generation, because you're right, it's a framework. It's not a one and done kind of thing. Like you said, there's 8 steps that need to be inside that lead magnet, 8 essential ingredients, 8 essential elements that need to be in there for it to be effective. That's the framework. So it's more than just a one and done kind of thing.
Right.
And if nobody's made a lead magnet before, they don't even maybe know where to start.
Right.
And when we're working with people, we get to that step in their business. They're like, well, what is a lead magnet? Well, that's easy enough to explain. But then, well, how do I make one? Well, when you can hand them a framework and say, this is exactly what you need to do. Plug in all of your language, all of your genius into these pieces. It it makes it so much easier. Takes
It
the
really does.
overwhelm away. And that's one of our favorite things, is to take the overwhelm away from our clients.
And to work with them one-on-one and see the aha moments,
Yeah.
and as they discover new things and as they take steps forward.
Right.
The aha moments are my favorites.
Yeah.
Yes. And that whole light bulb series goes off. And you know that you've met somewhere in the middle where they have found value and joy out of the information. And I know for me, that's where I find joy, is knowing I've helped somebody.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes. Now, the lead generation framework is something that you offer for free.
Right.
So I'm going to be sure to, I put that in the comments below so that everyone who's listening can access that. Please take advantage of that, everyone. It's a free service that Dana and David are doing for each of you. And it's part of their mission. Their mission is to serve. Dana, you were telling me that you are on a mission to serve 5,000 business owners.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Between now and 2026. That was our big, hairy, audacious goal. Remember we wrote that up.
Yes.
We wrote it. Yep. 5,000 businesses. So
Beautiful. So please help Dana and David reach their goal by downloading their lead generation framework. It's a beautiful piece. It's full of value. I enjoyed it very much going through each of it, and it tells a story. It tells a story about how to start from zero and not knowing who your client is, all the way up to that scale of 10, where you know who your client is, what you're solving for them, and you're putting in a cornerstone to build trust for a relationship that can continue forward. And that is the essence of a lead magnet. And I can't encourage everyone who's listening to download that, the lead generation framework from Dana and David. It's a beautiful piece. And I'm just fascinated that you're doing coaching now, because that just seems to be right along what you do. And Dana, you're definitely, your smile, you're a people person. It comes from your heart.
yeah. Everybody always wonders what's going on. She smiles all the time. It's just,
I get that as well. Like, why are you smiling all the time? Like, why not?
Yeah. I know. I'd rather wrinkle up than wrinkle down.
Get those laugh lines.
Get those laugh lines on the upside. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Any last words of wisdom for our listeners?
Well, one thing that comes to me is simply in any business, the attitude that you bring each day is going to make as much difference as your skill set. So if you can approach each day with a sense of excitement and gratitude for what's been, and excitement about what's coming, that makes as much difference as the skill sets.
It does. It does. And I think the attitude of gratitude will attract what you need as well, because it puts you in a good frame of mind. What great wisdom to share. And if what you're doing doesn't excite you enough to get you out of bed in the morning and be happy about it, change it.
Figure out,
Yes,
figure out
exactly.
what will.
Exactly.
Because it's all inside us. That's another thing. I love seeing the gold mines inside people. We all have them.
Yep.
We leave them untouched many times.
And if you're struggling with something, find a coach. I mean, I don't mean just in online marketing. Well, that's what we'd be glad to help you with. But in any area of life, there's somebody that's been there and already solved the problem.
Right.
Get some help.
Get some help. Well said. Well said. Well, Dana and David, I can't thank you enough for spending time with me today and with all the listeners and sharing your wisdom and your thoughts on all of this. Making a difference for each other is what I like to do in the world. And I get the sense that you feel the same way.
Absolutely. And
Absolutely.
we thank you for giving us this opportunity to share with your audience as well.
Yes, thanks so much, Theresa.
My pleasure. It's an honor to have you here. So everybody, be sure you download that lead magnet, the lead generation framework from Dana and David. David and Dana, thank you so much for being here today. It's been my pleasure and honor.
Us
And
as well.
I'm Dr. Theresa. Thank you everybody for joining us on the Ask Me Anything today. Tune in next week again at the same time, 3 o'clock Eastern Daylight Savings Time, right here on Ads That Serve, so you get more information about marketing, because we can all use that. Thank you so much.